You're literally saying women are conceited, yet you're sitting here like on your high and mighty horse. Who the heck are you? Like, well, you sound Morgan, so conceited.
You're getting already pretty fired up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a new video on my channel. So I know you guys are wondering, right? I posted this photo on my Instagram a while back. It's in my thumbnail. Yes, David and I met up with and had dinner with Paul and Morgan. I'll get into the details of that a little bit later and how it went, but I will say I do think I'm having a good influence on them because not long after they made a video criticizing, yes, criticizing Jesse Lee Peterson, a fellow Christian. So, you know, they have dinner with me one time and they're out there debating preachers. You know, what can I say? I'm pretty proud of myself. But in all seriousness, not long ago, I issued a challenge to Paul and Morgan that they watch one of Jesse Lee Peterson's videos, in particular the one where he says women should not be able to vote, women should not be educated. I made a whole video of that on my channel already, but in that video, I challenged them to respond to that exact same thing that he was saying and give their take on if they agree or disagree with Jesse Lee Peterson on the topic of women. I would love for them to react to some of the crazy things that Jesse Lee Peterson has said. I think one of the best things Christians could do would be to take people like Jesse Lee Peterson, and he's easy, right? He's low-hanging fruit. Y'all can do it. Take people like Jesse Lee Peterson and put him in his place a little bit. Their response was actually very interesting, and originally I decided to do one whole video talking about this whole thing, but I realized there was so much content that I'm actually breaking this into part 1 and part 2. In this video, part 1, I will be reacting to their reaction of Jesse Lee Peterson's video, but an interesting thing happened. The video that they made criticizing him actually got noticed by Jesse Lee Peterson himself, which led to them doing an actual debate with him, and that will be what I address in part 2. My biggest motivation in asking them to do this was because I know a lot of people who are Christian will probably be hurt or negatively affected by the things that Jesse Lee Peterson says or does, or just that mentality in general. So if someone like a Christian YouTube channel like Paul and Morgan could respond to him, then maybe people who are religious could see that and then not feel like it needs to be so radicalized. Feel free to send this is from their video, by the way. I would love for them to react.
This is going to be fascinating. This will be fascinating.
Wait for it. They used my intro. That's great.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
Oh my God.
In today's video,
the intro that I have been using every time I do a Paul and Morgan video, which is mimicking their intro, they used mine in their video instead of their own. Now that, if that doesn't say someone's a good sport, I don't know what does.
Paul and Morgan, JaclynGlenn's 2 favorite conservative Christians.
Oh my, wow.
Is that, okay.
I'm sorry, Jaclyn.
We are up there. I think we are.
Okay, maybe.
Jaclyn was like, I just kind of want to put it out there. Paul and Morgan, whoever. It'd be interesting to hear you guys talk about this and respond to what he was saying in this video. I watched it. Paul watched it.
We watched
thoughts. Jaclyn's video. We got lots of thoughts.
Yes.
I mean, right off the bat, this video is giving me a good vibe because, listen, they used the intro that I made, making fun of them pretty much. And that just makes you feel like they have a really good attitude about everything. And also, Paul is wearing a cat shirt. So, you know, I have to give credit where credit is due. That is an amazing shirt. Y'all know I'm a crazy cat lady, so cat things speak to my heart. So yeah, all around good vibes in this video. And speaking of good vibes, oh man, they're gonna kill me. I just can't do a Paul and Morgan video without an Adam and Eve sponsorship. So I want to thank AdamandEve.com for sponsoring this video. I love Adam and Eve. They have amazing things. And Paul and Morgan, if you see anything in my unboxing that I have linked below, hit me up. I'll send it to you guys. Just unused, I promise. I just open it up, show what's in the box, and then I keep it. So, you know, if y'all, I'll stop. If you guys go to AdamandEve.com and use my name, Jaclyn, Jaclyn, as a code at checkout, you can get 50% off any one item and free shipping, which is an amazing deal. I truly do love Adam and Eve. They have been supporting my channel for years and years now, so please make sure to click the link in the description and watch my unboxing video. all kinds of crazy stuff in that unboxing, so I'm very excited to share that with you. And again, use my code and good vibes to everyone. They're gonna love that. At this point, even though I did have a good feeling based on the way the video started out, I wasn't sure what they were gonna say, how they were gonna respond, because in my head, I'm like, okay, are they so tied to their Christian identity that they won't go against a thing another Christian says, even if they disagree with it? Like, you see that a lot in politics, you know, let's say someone is super conservative, for example, they, even though they might disagree, are sometimes unwilling to speak out against a fellow conservative because they don't want to like divide the movement. I see it on the left, I see it on the right, that was just an example. So at this point in the video, I was somewhat unsure how hard they would go against him on this, but y'all are gonna see, it's actually pretty good. But first, a little bit of the backstory of us meeting up in person.
So a month or two ago, we got dinner with Jaclyn and her husband David in Nashville. We reached out to them, said, hey, want to get some dinner? We'll be in Nashville. She said yes.
Morgan sent me a really nice DM on Instagram. I actually didn't see it because it was like filtered into the folder that I don't normally check, and I felt really bad about that, but David actually got a message from Morgan saying that I should check my messages, and it finally got full circle, and I checked my freaking messages and responded and said, sure, I would love to get dinner with you guys.
So we got dinner, we hung out for several hours. It was a really good time. We just got to know each other, chat about life.
Yeah, it was just really blessed.
Super blessed. It was very blessed, Paul, yes. We took a picture together at the end of the night, and I posted that on Instagram. They posted that on their Instagrams. And as expected, the internet was like, wait, what? And I mean, listen, had it been me on the internet saying that happened to someone else, I would have been equally as confused, especially me of all people. I think I've made the harshest videos against them of anyone. So to see everybody hanging out, it probably would have been pretty confusing. Mixed responses. A lot of people thought it was cool that we could put our differences aside and like have a nice dinner. A lot of people were angry with me, which is something that I kind of anticipated going into it. I had a feeling that people would say like, oh, how could you sit and be nice with people who have said this or believe in that or stand for this or whatever. But I mean, clearly those people don't know me very well, because even though I could flat out disagree with a lot of things that you know what, let's just say I do. I disagree with a lot of things that they say. I disagree with a lot of things that a lot of people in my life say or believe or do. But that doesn't mean that I don't have those relationships with my family, with friends. That seems to piss off the internet a lot. They think that I have to align with every single person that I care about in my life, and that's never been how I operated. One day y'all will figure it out. In my opinion, if you only allow people into your life that think exactly the same way that you do, you're missing out on a lot of good conversations, and you're missing out on the effect that you could have on that person. I think I'm an extremely good bad influence. And you know, this is a shocker, but we did have a nice time. We had a very interesting dinner, some nice conversations. You know, David, my husband, is Jewish, so we got to talking about that aspect of things, and even though he's not religious, he still believes that he is the chosen people, and he was saying, I get into heaven no matter what, and there was some like funny banter around that. I don't think Paul and Morgan agreed. It's okay. We're all going to hell over here. It's fine. Do I think that I'm gonna make them atheists or that they're gonna make me Christian? Hell no. And I don't think that should ever be the point. I don't think the point of hanging out with somebody or having a conversation with somebody that thinks differently than you should ever be to convert or deconvert, but rather to just have a conversation, an exchange of ideas, and walk away and process that on your own. People learn and grow in their own way, in their own time. So the intent shouldn't be there to change somebody, but I mean, hey, if it's a pleasant side effect, what am I gonna do if they start debating preachers?
And I think we all four of us left, I think, feeling like friends. That said,
we can only speak for ourselves, but yeah.
I think we did. I think we did. That said, there are still some very significant differences.
Definitely significant differences. And he goes on to say that they're going to agree with some things that I said, disagree with other things, and I'm going to say the same thing. In this video, they really do make some good points. I know, I'm giving Paul and Morgan credit. Weird. Which is funny because like a lot of the comments on their video were people saying like, I can't believe I actually am agreeing with Paul and Morgan. What world is this? But there are also some things that I'm gonna say in this video that I don't align with, but that's to be expected.
Obviously,
which is fine.
The Paul and Morgan Show being a conservative Christian channel, and Jaclyn's channel, which is, I mean, she's very outspoken about being an atheist. Major differences, It'll be interesting, though, as we tackle this video. Jaclyn made a video talking about it. We're going to make a video seeing perhaps where we agree with Jaclyn.
Internet breaks again. And I know a broken clock is right twice a day, but we actually do agree on a significant amount, especially whenever it comes to Jesse Lee Peterson.
You ready, Morgan? Uh-huh. Are you ready, Jaclyn?
Oh, I am ready. I hope you guys have your popcorn popped.
We're going to be playing some clips, some footage that Jaclyn also used in her video where she really roasted and toasted these guys. Like, she went after them in usual Jaclyn fashion.
Wait. I don't want to say that she went after them. Like, she didn't go after them. She literally was just responding to what they were saying.
She was...
Oh, she's defending me. Thank you, Morgan. But to be fair, that's how I feel about like videos of your guys's that I've responded to. I respond to what you guys say. I respond to what a lot of people say. But yes, I don't think I really. Well, I did. I went after him. It's fine. I'm gonna admit it.
So why was it a big mistake to educate women?
Because look at them. They're already like conceited and think that they know better without that stuff. And then when they get the education, and by the way, education is like geared towards girls now.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
I don't know if it's meant to be like that.
It's a girl education, and it's weak.
I mean, just look at them.
Because look at him.
Jesse talks with a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand him. First he asks, was it a mistake to educate women? And then he says, why was it a big mistake?
Because look at him.
Their editing style even reminds me of mine. Like, they take the clips and they replay the funny parts and they zoom in on the face. Like, you guys, nice. I see you. I like it. And Morgan mimicking that guy saying, just look at him. Like, girl, that is what I do. You are learning well.
I remember we had a friend who said that he listens to Jesse Lee Peterson. That was our first introduction to him. And our friend, he's a bold character in his own right. He was just saying what he appreciated about Jesse Lee Peterson. That was kind of all we really knew.
Mm-hmm. Paul, I'm noticing this thing about Paul where he'll just say bold instead of like sexist or, you know, horrible thing that one says. He'll just be like, that was a very bold thing to say.
And now watching this, I'm like, wow. I'm wondering if this is kind of normal for him. Because I'm listening to this.
Yeah.
I'm listening to this and I'm like, wow. All four guys are in agreement pretty much talking about should women be educated.
It's so refreshing for me to see like the pure shock on Paul's face and like Morgan's fiery responses, because I knew there was a chance that they wouldn't disagree with anything. Like, I did not 100% know going into this what stance they would take. I mean, I've seen Paul and Morgan say some shit before, you know, so I didn't know. I really didn't. I was hoping. I was so hoping. I'm like, please, if they respond to Jesse Lee, I'm praying. Please, Lord, if they respond to Jesse Lee Peterson, let them, for the love of God, let them see him for what he is and be appalled. I didn't, appalled. I didn't know for sure that would happen. So it was really refreshing to see their just like raw reaction to it.
And we're going to get to some more clips, but
in just getting ready for this video, I did watch a few other of his videos. And yeah, I mean, this is very, very normal.
So he's just this bold, this in your face.
Bold. He's just, yeah, I mean, he's pretty bold. Sexist, racist, just really insulting in general. But bold.
I do kind of wonder how much of it is he's purposefully trying to be inflammatory or if it's just truly deeply held beliefs by him.
That's interesting to me too, because that's sort of a similar style of question I like to pose to you guys whenever I make videos on anything like this. Like, do you think they really believe this? Or do you think that they know they're full of shit? Or is he aware of the things that he says that are crazy? Or does he just really actually believe them in his gut? As far as Jesse Lee Peterson goes, I would say, yeah, he fully believes that.
Look at them. They're so conceited already before education. I just think that's so, like, what the heck? And Jaclyn mentioned this as well. You're literally saying women are conceited, yet you're sitting here, like, on your high and mighty horse. Who the heck are you? Like, well, you sound Morgan, so conceited.
You're getting already pretty fired up.
Yes, sis, get it. I mean, at this rate, Morgan's gonna have her own atheist rant channel in like a few weeks.
Let's go on to the next clip.
So not only was it a mistake for women to vote, it was a mistake to let them be educated as well.
Right.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. I'm glad they have a similar appreciation for the amazing part of Jesse Lee Peterson.
Let's say you do want to get educated in a sense, right? Like, oh, I want to get into science or whatever. You kind of have to have the love and logic of a man to kind of protect from yourself from, you know, the temptation of of education.
Gotta have a man to keep that temptation of being smart in check. You know, sometimes, you know, I just go about my day being really dumb, and then I have a thought, like a single thought, enter my mind. But fortunately for me, I have a husband who tells me not to have that thought. Don't even think, actually. Girl, are you laughing at my funny jokes? I know, I'm hilarious. Also, man, it's weird to look back on that clip because I am like 9.5 months pregnant there. I look so different. I don't know, still working on it.
To me, it sounded like he was saying, say a woman is cooking or cleaning and she decides, I want to learn more about blah blah blah. She needs a man in her life who's gonna love her and lead her and tell her, no, you don't need to learn about that. Like,
I love how ridiculous you can tell that she thinks all this is, and yes, that is what he's saying. Women and education bad.
you guys know I fully believe in submitting to your husband. I believe that the husband leads the house. I believe that my husband is my leader, and that and that God is his leader.
And this is where we start to disagree. I don't believe in some kind of weird like male-female hierarchy in the household. You know, and if you're gonna make the argument that women have certain roles, men have certain roles, I disagree with that too, but like whatever, I'll look past that for now. Whenever the man is referred to as the leader and then like he talks to God and the woman is below the man and she talks to the man, whatever, that's establishing some sort of weird chain of hierarchy that I think is unhealthy in any relationship. I think that you can have an equality of respect and love, and that's it. That's how it should just be. I don't think it's healthy to refer to a man in the house as the leader. I think it should be a unit. I think it should be a team. And that's it. That's all that there is to it.
And yes, we each have our own relationships with the Lord. And Paul and I both believe that men and women are equal in God's eyes, like equally loved by the Lord. But the roles of men and women are very different.
Okay, equally loved by the Lord is different than equality within the household. If the Lord loves you equally, fine, whatever, but you're still establishing a hierarchy in society that men are the leaders of the household, and that is, however you want to call it, that is an inequality.
This mindset of women can do everything a man can do everything a woman can do. I think that that's damaging, and I think that that's kind of where they're coming from, but they're taking it to a whole nother level.
Right.
All right, I have to do it. The gender role thing is frustrating to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with a man doing things in the household that are stereotypically like done by women or whatever, and vice versa. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman being the bread earner, or the woman going to work, or the man staying home with the kids, or the man baking a pie. I don't know. There's really nothing wrong with any of that. I do agree with her, however, that Jesse Lee Peterson takes this to a really, really different extreme, a whole other level, like she was saying, but he's taking it to another level based on a belief system that is toxic that she holds herself, that they both hold, that there should be some kind of hierarchy and the gender roles are to be separated. And, you know, I'm not shitting on the idea that women today can still have the gender roles that they traditionally see as for women, or men to operate in that same way. If people choose to have that lifestyle, good on them. If that's what makes them happy, if that's what works for them, then great, more power to them. But some people don't live that. Some people have lifestyles that aren't like quote unquote traditional, that work for them, that work for their family, and they have happy, healthy, loving, successful, thriving families. And I don't think that anybody should feel the need to assert that that is unhealthy or toxic in any way.
I think that that's damaging.
You know, she says that that's damaging, and I just, that's where I wholeheartedly disagree. I don't think there's anything damaging about that. And, you know, I don't think that there would be able to be extremes of this viewpoint, a toxic viewpoint becoming more toxic, if the original mindset of a hierarchy or specific gender roles didn't exist to begin with, which I think would be much better.
Agree with you. I think there is some truth to the underlying current of what they are seeing is perhaps being problematic, but then they are just execution. And really, it seems like where they've landed on it is so extreme and so problematic and degrading.
And misogynistic and sexist.
Yes, it is, Morgan. It is misogynistic and sexist for sure. And it is on an extreme, I will give you that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and agree with you guys on this one, but I have to say, I do still think it's a little misogynistic and sexist to say that there should be any kind of hierarchy, but I will move on from that.
But that's the interesting thing is it's kind of like, okay, so we are comfortable saying these guys are whack, but we have had floods of subscribers come and say that we're all those things that you just mentioned. We are genuinely horrible people. So we're okay with saying that we don't feel good about them, but then we're getting people that really don't like us.
Well, at least he's self-aware. That's exactly what I was just saying this whole time. Well, shit. I would like to say, though, that just because there is a disagreement with the way that you guys think and feel on certain things does not mean that, at least not for me, that I think you're horrible people. And I don't think that that's true, hopefully, of a lot of people watching my video. Hopefully, you know, you could see the error in the ways of someone thinks, or disagree with the way that someone thinks and not label them as a bad person. You guys know this about me, right? I grew up very religious. I was once as, if not more strict with my beliefs than Paul and Morgan. So I know what that's like. I know what it feels like to think that way, to feel that way. And I know what it's like to come out of that. And I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but I am seeing signs in their behaviors in the slow way. This is how it happens. It's a slow realization of the error in certain ways of religious thinking. And once you start down that rabbit hole, sometimes it's hard to stop. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, that's extreme and that doesn't make sense. And then if you really, really get into the nitty-gritty of it, you start to realize that some of your own viewpoints don't hold up under that same scrutiny. So we'll see what happens.
Hearing them talking, I'm like, okay, you guys are leaving out the Proverbs 31 woman, where it talks about she goes about her business, she does business dealings, she's a shrewd dealer, she's making money. Like, she's obviously a learned woman.
Yeah.
You're not mentioning that. You're not mentioning the multiple instances of women that are holding certain titles of leadership.
Okay, so in this, he's feeling the need to defend that the Bible, I guess, has examples of women that are educated, that work. But, you know, you can point those out, but you cannot deny that there are a ton of misogynistic things in the Bible. There just are. I mean, and beyond that, the Bible talks about slavery, all kinds of like mass genocide. The Bible isn't the most happy of places. But I get it that they're trying to use the Bible. They always try to talk about how they are biblically based in their beliefs. So they're trying to use different instances in the Bible to disprove Jesse Lee Peterson that women should not be like that at all, by giving examples of women who teach and who lead, because Jesse Lee Peterson was talking about how women shouldn't be teachers and how the education system is going to hell because women are involved in it and women shouldn't be teachers, you know. And to be fair, the Bible does say that women should not teach men. It just does. The Bible does say that women should be quiet in the church. Not to mention all of the other really horrible misogynistic things in the Bible. They're just, I mean, you can't have one without the other.
Ephesians 4, it says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church." I didn't even hear Jesse and the gang mention that verse, but I'm sure they love that verse. But then the very next verse, which I'm not sure that they would love, because I don't think they would mention it, but it says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." That right there, that's huge.
I'm glad that he mentions what comes next after that verse. I will agree with Paul that that is huge, because at the time, like, you have to put all this into context, right? At the time that all that was written, women were super not equal to men in society, like not even close. So for him to say something like that was actually a pretty bold statement, because at the time it was bringing women to a higher standard of equality that they hadn't seen to that point. So it was a big deal for him to say that at the time. But you see, now it's 2021. You know where I'm going with that, right?
Look, Jesus gave himself up for the church. The Apostle Paul here is saying, I'm calling you husbands to do the same, literally laying down yourself for your wife, loving her that way, that sacrificially. I wish that I would have heard that from these guys, and I didn't see any sign of that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they take it to such an extreme that they don't want to give women any kindnesses at all. Like, some woman in their life somewhere wronged these guys, and they are just very angry people.
To me, it sounds like these men in this video just like literally despise women. That's a strong thing to say, but I mean, it's just the way they're talking. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, somebody somewhere really pissed them off and it was a woman and they're never gonna let that go.
I don't know if any of these guys are married. I don't know if Jesse is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming none of them are. That to me just shows, one, they're absolutely not experts because they ain't even married.
Burn!
But I don't know what kind of woman would want to marry a man like that. Like, they are total buttheads.
Morgan, I cannot believe you just said buttheads. You know Jesus is listening, right? I mean, shit, before you know it, she's gonna start calling them meanie pants. I really wonder what's going on in the psychology of these men. Like, what happened to you in your life that made you this way? Like, something happened somewhere terribly wrong.
I agree.
Oh my God, you guys. We're starting to think alike. Hell is freezing over.
Listening to these guys, like, how did you come up with any of this? What church did you go to? What did your dad teach you? This is disturbing.
Girl, you are getting fired up. I am gonna be the first one that subscribes to your Atheist Rant channel. I am waiting. I've got my popcorn. I am so excited. I'm kidding, but if that happened, oh my God, could you imagine?
If you guys want to make like an argument of, well, more women should not go to college because it actually is a better functioning society, it's better for women, whatever, to be focused on the home. Like, that's fair enough.
There's a much better way to make that argument, though.
No, that is not a good point. That is not a good argument. No one should be making that argument.
But it's like every line that they're saying is so inflammatory. Once again, I get that there are scripture verses, and some of them I believe were cultural and for that time.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of a little bit of what I was saying before about Paul. Not this Paul. Paul is talking about the verse from Paul. It's very confusing. The whole submit to your husband thing was during a time where women did not really have rights, were not viewed as equal status members of society, and it was a very, like, timing relevant thing in our history.
But saying about women, like, you know, ask your husband rather than maybe ask questions in the church, speaking up in the church, wait and ask your husbands at home. That was Paul talking to one of the churches in his letters. That can be debated on, was that specific for that time? You got to look at those different things.
But that's how I feel about what you said earlier about how wives should submit to their husbands and how there should be any differences in gender roles. And listen, you guys, you're making the same argument for him that I was making for the way that you guys think. Oh my gosh, how cute.
But yeah, it was a massive mistake to educate women.
I noticed that everything the women get involved with, it turned to hell.
That's juicy.
Like, do you really believe that, Jesse? He just said it so, like, matter-of-factly.
You could take that, and he's making it easy. He's lobbing it up for us to all pounce. For Jaclyn to pounce, for Morgan to pounce, for myself to pounce.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I really think he believes this. I truly do. And I'm so happy and I feel so refreshed that Paul and Morgan are as in shock as I am, because I didn't know. I mean, it could have gone either way.
But you got to think, if you were to have, none of us have had a one-on-one conversation with Jesse.
Jaclyn has.
Jesse, yes, Jaclyn has. Jaclyn has. I take that back.
Oh, Morgan knows her facts. Girl is on it.
Good point, but it's like, there is no way in his mind.
I would be interested to sit down and talk with him.
Yeah, because there's no way in his mind that he feels like he's sitting there on the couch thinking everything a woman touches turns to hell.
But he said it.
But he said it, and so he's got to take ownership of that.
I've had enough experience, like, with Jesse Lee Peterson, and I've seen enough of his stuff to truly know that that is just, his brain is warped to the point of no return, and yes, he fully believes this.
Jesse Lee Peterson, if you're watching this, come on our channel and let's talk.
Fun fact, Jesse Lee Peterson, like I said at the beginning of this video, saw their response and invited them on his show, actually, and they did it. That's gonna be my next video. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Women are not smart and they're not equal to men. It's just a reality.
Jesse, well,
what the heck?
Give me something here. You know, I like to try to see the heart of what's going on and not just pounce. I like to be slow to pounce. Morgan is a little quicker. Jaclyn's a little quicker to pounce.
Oh my!
I like to be a little slower to pounce.
Oh, she is getting lit up. This is hilarious. This is very entertaining for me to watch this dynamic. I like the new confidence that she is exuding. I am here for it. I also can appreciate what Paul says. He is, you know, he's just basically saying, I like to give someone the benefit of the doubt as long as I can. Like, he's really, really trying to not see Jesse Lee Peterson as this like ridiculous person that says these crazy things, but I mean, at some point you just have to kind of realize that that's just what it is.
Stop.
But you're not giving me a lot to
You are
help.
putting yourself.
You're
Putting
not-
yourself in hot water, buddy.
You're not giving me a lot to work with, Jesse, with statements like this.
I would not put Morgan in that hot water, man. Don't do it.
If there's one video, one thing to come down hard on,
I'm not saying that's not
it's
true.
this.
The sass.
That's my point, though, is even me trying to see, like, what are you trying to say, Jesse? Is there some good in here? He's not giving me much to work with these type of statements.
And he won't ever. Good luck. Sometimes you just simply cannot find the good in some things. You can try real hard, but sometimes you just shouldn't. And this is one of those times.
These men who are married, these so-called educated women, they're turning their husbands into housewives.
Women who are deciding to go to work full time, leaving the kids at home. The husband is actually quitting his job and staying at home with the kids. And
Which we are seeing a rise in that.
yeah, and he sees that as not good, as not biblical.
Here's an interesting shift. I agreed with Morgan's perspective over Paul. If I had to pick one, I think Morgan was more fiery during this first half of the video, but now it kind of switches, and I'm going to start to side with Paul a little bit. So it's very interesting. I'm so intrigued by this.
I don't think that that's how it should be.
That the
Like,
wife
the
goes
wife
and works.
would go to
and
work full time, and the man would stay home with the kids full time. I think that God intended it to
Hey.
be the other way for a reason.
When I married you, I thought that might end up being the case. You were
did.
signed with a
That's true.
record label in Miami. I was picturing, okay, if this is how it's going to be, I want to marry this woman, and her life may be out on the road doing music, and I may be home with the kid, writing, working on a book or something like that. Could there be a place for that?
Maybe.
Okay, so she says maybe, but I really appreciate what Paul said here, because even him and all of his like super strict religious beliefs loved Morgan enough to accept the possibility of a lifestyle that does not align with the gender roles they so strongly believe in. He was willing to, you know, support her career and be a stay-at-home dad if needed, which is awesome, man. Props to you for being like that. But my biggest issue just with the idea that it's not okay for those roles to be, I guess, in their opinion, reversed, is that this, you know, this is America. Like, you never know what the dynamic is going to be. Maybe there is a marriage that, you know, the man is not blessed with a career that is as lucrative as the woman is. And maybe she is able to provide for her family in a way that he cannot at the time, or possibly ever. Who knows? Everybody has a different life. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't pretend to know everybody's situation. You can't put a one-size-fits-all stereotype on every relationship. So propagating this idea that women shouldn't be as educated because they shouldn't leave the family or go to college or something so they don't leave their family, I don't like that, because everybody is different. Every relationship is different, and there are healthy relationships that are the exact opposite of what Paul and Morgan believe in, and there are very unhealthy relationships that are exactly what they believe in. So it doesn't matter. As long as you have a unit, a couple that loves each other, and makes it work, and they raise their children in a way that, you know, they do the best they can, and they give that kid everything they need and all the love and all the things in the world, like, it shouldn't matter if that happens with the mom working and bringing home the money, or you know, whatever dynamic shifts that they don't consider traditional. I don't think that there should be judgment on that, and I don't think that there should be this constant discourse on this is how things should be according to God, because there are a lot of people out there that are religious that don't have this traditional lifestyle, and I don't think they should be shamed for it. And maybe it's not even about money. Maybe it just makes her happy. Maybe it makes her happy to go to work and him happy to stay home. What's it matter to anybody? If that's what works for their family and they've got a healthy family, then great.
Well, Jaclyn, how was that? How was that?
It was great, Paul. Thank you for asking. Honestly, like, overall, with their response, I am impressed in each of them for different reasons. And I did not expect them to accept this challenge. I truly was very surprised that they were willing to do this. And like I said, it goes beyond this. And they actually debate Jesse Lee Peterson. Like, I hang out with them one time.
Paul and Morgan, They are a married couple. They are Christians. And they saw that video and they commented on it. And I was glad to see that. And I asked them to come on the show today. And let's have a little discussion about it.
Like I said, that's going to be in my next video. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see that. I am very excited to talk about it.
A thumbs up if you appreciate us responding to Jaclyn's challenge.
We enjoyed it, Jaclyn. We enjoyed it. And hey, Jaclyn, seriously, Morgan and I are excited about coming to Nashville again, hopefully in the near future, and hanging out with you and David.
Y'all are welcome anytime. Let me know when you're coming. We'll hang out. We'll talk all about... Well, we'll find something to talk about. I'm just joking around. It would be fun. Seriously, you guys are welcome here. Let's hang out.
If Paul wasn't in this video, you guys, I'd probably be going much
It would be scary. That would be a scary thing to even think about.
Make your channel. Make a rant channel. I will subscribe. Honestly, like, she reminds me of me back in the day. I was just as religious, if not more, and look where I am now. I just wanted to pull a few comments from their video, so this is the one that I left if you guys were curious. And below that, someone said, honestly, as an atheist, this made your opinions more credible to me, knowing you will call out people too extreme in a different direction you normally would. If I had just seen the JLP video, I might have thought you agreed with it a lot more than you actually did. Thank you for covering this. I realize you are a lot more reasonable than I first thought. And that exactly is part of the reason why I issued the challenge as well. It makes you look a lot less radicalized whenever you can call out bullshit in your own camp. Also have to say, I second this comment. I would die for an untamed Morgan response. Let that fire out, girl, do it. But yes, that was my response to their response to the Jessie Lee Peterson video that I initially did a response to. If that makes sense. I am really proud of them for tackling this. Did not expect it, and pleasantly surprised at how well they handled it. And you know, there was a lot of sass in there that I really appreciated. I see myself in their video editing style and some of their responses. Like, it was very interesting. It was very interesting for me to see that video. And oh my God, they used my intro. Like, it's perfect. So much respect to them for being such good sports and actually being willing to do this. And further than that, going out and actually having a conversation with Jessie Lee Peterson himself. I relate to the frustration you must have felt. That is a hard thing to do with a straight face. So I'm very much looking forward to watching your full debate with him. That video is going to probably be even longer than this one, if you guys can believe it. So if you guys want to check out my friends Paul and Morgan, I'll leave links to their relevant videos in the description below, and their debate if you want to watch it before I do that response. Just you go for it. Have fun. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to see my next video. Thank you to everybody supporting me over on Patreon, patreon.com/Jaclyn, and to everybody shopping at my merch store, ffvmerch.com. Lots of exciting things over there. And also, it was just my husband and I's 1-year wedding anniversary. I know we made a baby real fast, but we did just have our 1-year anniversary, and to celebrate that, we put out an EP of an original song that he wrote for our wedding, and he also did a cover that I danced with my dad for our father-daughter dance, and then I sang a cover song for his mother-son dance. So there's a song that I sang on that EP, so if you want to check it out, I will leave that link in the description below. Please do that. It would mean so much to us. And last but not least, please make sure you subscribe to the vlog channel. We just put out our official wedding video, so if you want to check that out, it's got David's original song as the music in the background. And that channel also has so much more on it. Our birth story. Oh my gosh, so many exciting things to come. I cannot wait for Halloween with my little 2-month-old. It's gonna be so much fun. So make sure you check out the family vlog channel, Frank Family Vlogs, and subscribe. Okay, I think I've talked enough in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.